Well, this is the wrong song, but it's a little hardcore. It's not that bad out there. All right. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. It's 6:32. It is September 4th. It's actually my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Selena. And what a big birthday month, right? The second was Chase's birthday. Over the weekend, I had a wedding, and it was my dad's 80th birthday. So a lot of things to be, have gratitude for, and then the market's the market. The market does what it wants to do. It's up to us to approach it with a proper plan and a way to navigate it based on our risk tolerance, right? So anyway, with that being said, yesterday was one of those days where you had to switch gears real fast if you were thinking of a certain scenario to play out. And if you look at the chart of the spies here, right, it looked as if there was a potential that we would be breaking to the upside. And it did look like that, right? If you take this candle out of the way, okay, and you go like to over here, which you can't really do and see, it looked like we were ready to break out, and start with some September flows. And then that happened. So anyway, I came in pretty long. I had like 5-6 positions, and I lost money yesterday, but I was just talking to my friend Petey and talking about how, I was actually happy to lose money because I did it the right way. What is doing it right? Well, how is losing money the right way? Well, I was long some spies. I got out when we broke 559-ish because that shouldn't have happened. I got rid of my Apple. I got rid of my Tesla Green. I got rid of my XBI. I got rid of a lot of things, fast. In the first hour, I was pretty much out of my longs because this upper range. So my thought process was this trade was going sideways after digesting a huge move. And even though I didn't think the fundamentals or the market timing would be great to break out, the market was saying something a little bit different. So anyway, that thought was different and changed. So I changed. Instead of just buying all the way down and closing my eyes and saying, this is baloney, this is that, PS, I get out of the way. And then, if you remember, I've been talking about 555, right, as a key level, and 557, which is right there. At that point, I was out of everything midday, and then I switched short the spies and wound up making some good money back. And now we walk in, the spies are down $2, and I'm not caught in a lot of different things, and I'm going to trade a little bit more tactically until I see what's next. If you look here at the alpha team, which is the crew, you could see now this is what everyone follows, and all I am is short the spies. But this is my active world. Okay, this is my, I have my swing trading account, my active account, my options account, and my box account where I get paid monthly and quarterly. That's my, timing mechanism where I need to be right every few days or every day or every hour to book money to get paid. My longer term accounts, you don't sell those. Okay, 401k, every single month I'm putting money in. I don't care what happens. I'm 52 years old, or I'll be 52. I have at least till 59. My wife's 403B. She's turning 48. She's got a decade. We're not going to be cute there. 529. My son's a sophomore. We're putting money in there. And then the blood in the street account, I've already carved out 5% twice. And I will not be putting her account to work until who knows where. Usually I start when we're 5% off highs. Okay. Right now we're at 550.05, which is just here. This is this gap. So the question is, for today, if you want to make money for today, how do we handle 549.53? As of right now, we're right a little bit around it. Do we hold it and you're risking 50 cents for some kind of little bit of a retracement bounce? And then if the bears want to reject price, one spot would be to be rejecting the 21-day right here at 553, which is right there. Okay. And then if the bears want to keep control, if we get that, then they don't let the active bulls take back this area. So if you get a retracement and roll over, but I don't know if that'll be today. We'll see. But the bottom line is, this is your spot. Then you go to the Qs. The Qs had that inside range, and then it broke 467.89. Okay, lost the moving averages. A lot of people probably, if you had tech, you had to get out of the way. very fast, maybe get short, blah, blah, blah. Then the XBI, which I loved in case we were going to just meander higher for 2 weeks. A lot of times they say, in September, it's a horrendous month, which is true, or it's historically lower. But the first week or two sometimes has strength because you still have corporate buybacks. We're not in the blackout period, so we could have went up first before going lower. That didn't happen. So what happened yesterday? You had a red dog reversal sell outside day in the XBI. I had no idea why it was stronger early. So I was selling some XBI, I was selling some options, and then look at this candle. That means this upper flag. And if you're in a trade for a reason, meaning a reason, your idea, and it changes, you have to adjust and get out of the way, use your stops, which could hurt because you lose money. Yeah, losing money happens in trading, but you lose less, and then you get in a position of control versus hoping and praying. So yesterday, when we pushed through and failed, I got out of the XBI and also got out of my options, and I'll wait and see. Now, we'll see what happens here today. First of all, I'm very rude. Red Dog is rude today. I didn't say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Let's see who's here. Thob's here. Good morning. I'll let you guys see who's talking. This is the crew. Got Marcus Lager, Christians rescheduled October in Venezuela. Okay, Christmas months away. Why are we talking about Christmas? Bear process takes time. All right, Tony. Todd D says, good morning. Option Wrap says, what's up from Glendale, California. Glory is tuning in. All right, got about, a bunch of the dogs tuning in. This is what I see. I don't see it as a kaleidoscope, but I figured, look at that. It looks a little, psychedelic. Anyway, so what am I going to be looking at today? So at this point, I covered a little bit of the SPYs because I did, as you saw in the virtual trade before I went home short. And I'm going to see how we handle yesterday's lows. Once again, I'm going to go to that one more time, then I'll go to some stocks. Bottom line is, I was talking also to my friend Louis, who's been doing this just as long as I have been. Give him a shout out. He didn't work the last 2 weeks of the summer. He was in the Hamptons or Montauk. He has a house there, and was chilling out. Which is next. I'm not going to be here the next summer. The last 2 weeks, Red Dog is going to be in the mountains and the beaches because the trade. I've said that a bunch of times. Instead of losing 6 figures, try not to do the wrong thing, I might as well go spend it on my family and give to some charity. But anyway, what's up, Yorkshire? So again, 549.53. SMHs led lower. It looked like you were going to have a mid-level flag that broke to the downside. That's not bullish. Plus the fact that the SPYs got all the way up here in their chart, and the semis, which have led this bull market the past year or two, broke lower with NVIDIA. If you remember yesterday, guys, I was like, how do we handle 116.71 in NVIDIA? Do we hold it? Do we break below it? Do we get below it and stay below it? Do we make this little, red dog reversal? Well, guess what happened? It was heavy all day, and that is what led to the move lower. So that's why today it needs to be a focus. What would bounce? This 108 is gone now. What would bounce this tape a little bit? Okay, if NVIDIA, which is only down $1.58, goes from down $1.50 to up $1.50, that could be a few $1,000s for you if it happens. But it doesn't have to happen. The way, again, I would play it is let it put a low in. Just say it puts a low in at 105, comes up to 106 in the first 15 minutes, market goes lower, NVIDIA doesn't make a new low, you buy versus that 105, and then all of a sudden it reclaims 107.29 and gives you a little bit of a bounce. If that's the case, these SPYs or the Qs probably come off lows and then you get a day trade, right? You're allowed to day trade this market, okay? Most people do, a lot of people do, and make cash flow while the market's going through some kind of market discovery. SMH Daily is a head and shoulders, Mike says. Mike knows his stuff. I'm going to look at that. Head and shoulders on the daily. If you want to take a bigger look, which is what this is, I guess you could say, but that's, that's a long way off. But again, you could see, if you want to say this is the left shoulder, right, and this is a huge head, and this is the right shoulder, and then this is your neckline. But a lot of trading has to happen between now and then. This is gone now. Bye bye. And then this is kind of a spot, and then here is your 200-day. So the SMH is going to see the 200-day already. Could be, you know what? But sometimes the neckline, is the neckline. If we go down this, which is what Mike is saying, which I'm not saying we will, that means NVIDIA probably gets to, if you look, probably gets to 98 or gets back down to where it bottomed there. And, you got to map it out. Try not to think too far ahead. Those who try and think too far ahead are losing in the minutia and losing more than they have to. So at this point, again, I would say with NVIDIA for today, does it reclaim this spot and try and, give you a little bit of a relief move? You could do that and still go lower in the next week or two, but anyway, so that's 107. If you remember this red dog reversal in NVIDIA, that was right around 98.69. That gave us a little bit of confidence that was going to happen after it took out 106. So this is 106-ish. So again, 107.29. We'll see how that goes. Right now it's down $1.50. SPYs are down 2, and we'll see what goes on there. I will say, in the Mag 7, Amazon, which has been absolutely horrendous, where Jeff, the only one who scored on Amazon was Jeff by leaning on it at 201. Remember that? But then anyway, at least we got out of the way right here. That broke the 8-day. Listen, during corrective phases, the 8 and 21 day are your best friends. If it's below it, I don't care what you will say, what do. You're out of the way, and when it reclaims it, try not to short it. So Amazon did hold up well yesterday. You had this big candle on Friday, which is one of the reasons why I was long. I'm like, you know what? Some of these tech stocks, are getting above a prior high and staying a little different. SPYs closing at dead highs. Again, that's like an 11 versus 6 in blackjack. You got to double down. If you don't get that face card, percentage-wise, you usually do. And then if you don't, the dealer could bust. But anyway, yeah, it is. So we'll see. So for Amazon, I would say, here's yesterday's low. What's yesterday's low in Amazon? 175.26. What is this? 175.26. Does it hold that or not? Or does it get back above it? What's Amazon doing this morning? Go to Amazon. Amazon is down $1.23. So yeah, so Amazon would be constructive if all of a sudden the SPYs aren't going to really fall apart, and all of a sudden the SPYs and this is going to be a minor retracement. Remember, yesterday I posted the retracement rules. The 542-ish area, 543 is the 38.2% retracement of this move. Okay, so if we hold there and things hold in better, those are the ones we turn to if the market gets better. When Microsoft is breaking the 200 days not a time, that's true. Listen, I understand. Microsoft was horrible. Microsoft was one of the names that rallied the worst. Okay, and then you had this wedge pattern, loose and wide. We'll see how that goes. So this could get away from here. I have not been in Microsoft during this entire move, pretty much, and now Microsoft's below what, 407.03. Yeah, high, lower high, lower high. Not very healthy for Microsoft, so I get it. And Google, I didn't touch Google once either. Google not very healthy either. Google had this inside range, broke to the downside, and some people are like, hey, right, I'm going short this still. I'm like, okay, you can. It's not telling you to be long it actively. Below all the moving averages here is when it was trending, when I was in it a lot, and this basically gave you no rally. So I get it. Tesla looks a little bit better, It had a little bit of give, but Tesla hasn't had much memory from one day to the next lately. It's still no man's land also. This tried to be a little bit better yesterday. I came in long Tesla and actually made money on Tesla, thank goodness. It went and hit a high of what, 219.90. It's still not special. From one day to the next, there's a little bit more energy than the next day, but I guess we'll see what happens today now. Here, ever since, pretty much last December, it's been just a trade, right? You had this inverted head and shoulders pattern. This was a great trade. Wow, that was probably one of my best trades in Tesla in a while. And then since it missed on earnings, it gave you a little bit of a move during that August 5th bounce, but it was choppy as hell. So Tesla is not special. You need to also be careful there. So Tesla right now is down $1.80. I would say it's in the game because it was stronger. So if NVIDIA goes green, which it might, and it reclaims that level, and then the SPYs want to rally a little bit because it's following NVIDIA, Tesla could be worth a look in Amazon. These four are going to be my focus today. Okay. And then we'll see what happens accordingly. And then the ones that acted well were really predatory, right? Meta, what a friggin' disaster. Meta looked best, made a new high by $2 and failed. That a lot of traders lost a lot of money there. I lost money that buying options. Thank goodness I got out of the way. Then Netflix was looking good. It also, couldn't do it on its own. A 7-Eleven, then it went to 707, and then look at that candle. After holding high. If you were in Netflix saying, hey, this is acting best, if we go up, this is going to lead, well, that candle just said, So again, people say, where do you put your stop? You put the stop where the trade changes in your mind, and then you look for the new trade or the new setup. Palantir, what'd that do yesterday? Palantir, gave you, it led the move off the August 5th lows with that earnings gap. Did a little red dog reversal right here. We were buying into this spot, and now, where is it this morning? Palantir is back to 30. 29.75. Does it hold this little spot, or does it want to see lower? Does it want to see this area, which it could. At this point, it all depends on how deep this retracement. It's September 4th, right? September 4th. Historically, you make your new low, whatever that reactionary low is, sometime in October. So that's 4, 5, 6 weeks away. My one thought is maybe we can make one new high prior. But listen, I was in the camp that we shouldn't have even got back to highs. That's why everyone's like, Red Dog, you love Tom Lee. Why are you busting Tom Lee's chops? I'm like, I'm busting Tom Lee's chops because, when you look at the IWM, right here, when we had this topping candle, I think that was right around the Fed. He's like, no, 50% move in August. We're going to 250. I'm like, guys, technically we just did a push through failure. We failed. I don't care what Tom Lee says, so, he's, instead of saying be careful or whatever. And then when a lot of us, including me, which lost me a lot of money in the last part of this move, I was kind of, I started to short a little bit. I played this bounce really well, and then I started to be short too much SPYs up to here. And then right around there, he's like, yeah, we're going to see 5,800 all-time highs mid-September. And that's what kind of juiced this last part of the move and made me think, hey, maybe we do. I can't be short these SPYs. And then PS yesterday, he's like, oh, we could be down 7-8%, but you have to buy that. So he hedged it every which way. He should have said we could be down 7-8% over here. Don't buy this area back at highs. It's too much. But anyway, everyone's just going to talk out of their ass. They're not making you money. They're not feeding your family. Mike Wilson was the one that everyone loved, thought was a rock star because he called the short, but then he stayed short for a rally for 2 years. Mike Lee, Tom, I love that he's, actively bullish, but the bottom line is, the bulls will win over time. So I'd rather someone be a perma bull than a perma bear because long term you want to collect assets and you want to let it, go up over time. And historically, the bull market will win in the S&P. If you put money in every single month in the S&P for 30 years, you're going to make a lot of money. So I'd rather you do that than think the world's going to end every other year, like the bears say. But anyway, with that being said, again, 549 is the key to the day. And then if it wants to fill this gap, this is 545. The other key to the day today for me is NVIDIA. Does it reclaim 107.29? The other thing I'm going to look at today is Tesla and Amazon. Those are the 4 things you need for today to make money potentially. So with that said, it is 6:50. We, the trade has changed, and now today, tomorrow could be, let's say Wednesday. You can get some price discovery before we have to think about what we're going to do for the jobs report on Friday. Another thought was, hey, the street is still saying we're going to cut 100 basis points by the end of the year. How the hell would we be cutting 100 basis points, rates if we were all of a sudden up here in the SPY? So, on this move, all of a sudden, the Fed, the Fed funds calculation went up a little bit because they're like, oh, well, they don't watch the market. They just watch employment and this. No, they watch sentiment. They watch the market. So we went from, a certain amount of expectations to higher expectations because of this. Remember down here, what that guy was ranting and raving on TV about, they got to cut a point. At this point, we were still up 11% in the S&P. Usually back in the day, some of you guys are newer or younger, the Fed wouldn't cut rates until we were down 20%, for the year, not 9% or 10% from the highs and still up 11. That's how soft this world is becoming. That's the whole entire direction of this, everyone gets a trophy, but I'm not going to get into that. So with that being said, we'll see what happens. 549, 545. If they do reclaim this. 553 would be some resistance. This would be huge resistance. Let's look for some clues today. Let's make some money. Let's feel good. There's a lot to be, have gratitude about. And the only way you're going to do that is by thinking clearly and being in control. So yesterday, I think those who were trying to look for a breakout got out of the way, including me. And now I'm in more control to play ranges, try and make some cash flow and figure out what's next. And no, the blood in the street account doesn't go to work on a day like this. It went to work here and it went to work here. And it's documented. So she's happy. She's an all-time high now back in the write-up. I would think, I'm not even going to forecast, but it has to be at least 5% off highs for that account to be put to work. And it's been put to work twice. So let's just get the white flowers. James, at lunchtime, I will get the white flowers. I was pretty good. I went out, I bought cards. I bought one for Chase to sign. I got one from Cadence, my dog, saying, I woof you. So on the table is a present and cards. I'll get some flowers. We're going to dinner tonight. So I did that. Now I just have to make her a collage. I could put it on Facebook and everyone could see how much I love her. Anyway, the world's a funny place. I'm not talking politics because it gets you nowhere. I have to block like 5-10 people a day on Twitter if I mention even something kind of in the middle, and then they go off from the far left or off from the far right. I'm like, block, block, block. Not enough time in the day to deal with people who are out of their minds. And there are a lot of people out of their minds besides all the people who say that somebody changed their life and made them $400,000 from $40 in the last week. They're scammers. They didn't make $400,000 from $40. I don't care what they say. Anyway, Apple. Again, I kind of feel happy about Apple. Yesterday, I came in long Apple, and I said, it showed a little relative weakness. Over the weekend, I saw a Bloomberg article how Tim Cook might be doing his succession plan, and I was a little worried about being caught. I got out of Apple at 227, and I missed this entire move down, which is nice. So now the question is, maybe you could buy the 50-day. So this didn't hold, so this is now gone. Goodbye. This is now what? 221.17. 221.17, and then the 50 days below. What's Apple doing this morning? Let's see what Apple's doing this morning. Apple is getting some downside follow through. So again, you want to talk about small wins? I came in long Apple. I've been in long Apple pretty much since the bottom trade. My son Chase is an investor in Apple. He doesn't get out of the way because he is only 16, or anyone. But yesterday, when we broke this 227, I reacted fast. So instead of saying I love Apple, by the way, those headphones, the new ones, are absolutely fantastic. I got them for Chase for his birthday. The noise cancellation like Beats. You feel like you're in a planetarium or a stadium. That's so awesome. That'll be a great Christmas gift. But anyway, that didn't mean we wouldn't go down yesterday, and didn't mean you're not going to be at the 50-day today, which is closer to what? 219. So Apple right now is a 220. If you went out short, congratulations, cover some. If you sold 232, you'll see what happens here. Here's your 50-day. This should be a spot that's close to, just say, 218.55. Anyway, and that's that, my friends. I wish you guys luck today. Be prepared. Be in control. There's no hoping and praying in the market. There's no being bailed out and closing your eyes and waiting. It's, does the trade change? If the trade changes, you adjust. That's how you stay in the business. I've been in the business since 1997 because I adjust. Sometimes they're easier than others. Sometimes they're more predatory. Sometimes the sequence is awesome. Sometimes, there's follow through. And then other times it's a choppy mess. So you can't control the phase of the market, just how you control it and how active you're going to be. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you a little bit later. Let's see. But what's slower? My bottle is a death of gin.